Seeing as how this game already has so many people marking it as their game of the year, I figured I'd also go ahead and put in my 2 cents as a little Monster Hunter newbie. And I haven't played for 20 years and probably have a combined 10 hours in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. So I guess by saying that, I mean that I know a lot of you might take my opinion, and it might not matter as much to some of you who've been, pretty loyal to the franchise. And I have nothing against that, and I respect that as a stance. But with that being said, if you haven't seen everything in the game yet, there might be a few slight spoilers, with like some monsters on the screen or whatever, so keep that in mind. As a new player, this game is absolutely amazing. Trust me, I'm not trying to glaze Capcom. I've somehow managed to avoid like every Capcom game ever in my gaming career, so I'm not some kind of fanboy trying to praise Daddy Capcom either. It's genuinely a good game, and plenty of people agree since it averages like 600,000 people in the middle of the day. I think that kind of brings me to my whole point of the big problem I have with it. Give me my life back. I've barely played anything else or done anything else since I got the game like a week ago. It's addicting as all hell. I see a lot of people saying once you decide on what weapon you like the most, focus on that one for the high rank. Yeah, I've already been in high rank for a pretty decent bit now, and I'm still switching between every single weapon. Except for the bow guns. Yeah, no thanks. I just really can't stick to just one, or I guess technically two, since my beautiful little bird gets to hold one. Bug stick? Yes, please. Axe that turns into a sword and catches on fire until it explodes? Yes, please. Anime man? Yes, please. Other anime man? Yep, that one too. I think you get my point now. I've seen a lot of different opinions that some of the weapons have been made a little bit more accessible, but I think that kind of helps them. They're not like dumbed down in a way that they lose their complexity. It's just been slightly altered from what I can tell, and that means that technically anybody can pick it up and use it. And I think that's actually a good thing though. Anybody can use it, but I think we all know that it doesn't mean that everybody can be good at it. There's definitely still a skill ceiling when it comes to these weapons, and I've seen some pretty nasty combos whipped out. And speaking of whipping out combos, I do understand that there's a lot of people that are thinking the game's a little bit too easy, even still high rank. I wouldn't personally say that it's too easy, but I will agree that it could be a little bit harder. I'm definitely glad that they've said they're adding a new monster difficulty above the tempered in the first big title update. But even though I'm basically new to the Monster Hunter line of games, I would still say that the monsters do still have a fairly decent difficulty to them. And that's not saying I'm like walking up and speedrun clearing them or I'm struggling either. I don't think there's even been one time where I've even used all 3 feints on a mission. And some people might think that a new player should at least have that happen a few times in their first time in a game, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Because, I mean, let's face it, I play video games every day, so there's probably a few games out there that I'm going to full-on struggle with. But when I do feint to a monster, it's pretty much always been my fault, not because the monster's just too unfair or it's too hard. And that also gives me the feeling that I'm not really going to tilt or just straight up rage at the game and like bang my desk and go all crazy. Which in this day and age is pretty good because, most people in online games these days are just looking for a reason to pop off and not in a good way either. But that's a whole different topic. When it comes to some of these fights, I could get cooked over and over and over and over again and still be willing to mount back up and just jump right back in. And I think that for me, now that I'm also in the high rank section of the game, it gives me a good enough time while I'm out here grinding for every little scale, feather, eyelash, ear, eye, nose, whatever. But don't get me started on that. Actually, I will get started on that now. How have they made it to where almost every single armor piece in the game is just straight up amazing? I can make my hunter, who is a female for the smaller hitbox, duh, look absolutely peak using any set I want. Big suit of armor? Obviously they have that. Do I want to have a super sick looking horn on my head? Hell yeah I do. Plague Doctor? That's clean. Necromancer to summon my little baby kitty back after he flies on a little bug to heal me at the absolute worst moment? Yep, they got that too. The armor designs in the game are amazing. This doesn't even touch on any of the little outfits for my little kitty man. Since this is my real first go at Monster Hunter, I was hoping that there would be a way for me to kind of transmog my armor, if you will. And because the game is just so peak, of course they have it. So now you're telling me I can wear the absolute best possible armor to pad my stats and look as cool as I want? Oh. And I can change the colors to look however I want? Yeah, thank you very much. I definitely needed to hunt every single monster so that I can craft every single piece of armor that you have. It's totally fine. But what isn't fine is what isn't fine about the game. And this is like the biggest thing that I see people speaking negatively about, and that's the multiplayer aspect of the game. I've had no issues with it myself, but that means I could be pretty lucky. I'm not really too sure. Because of course I have my humble little squad, and we use our humble little squad lobby, and it works just fine. I mean, no issue there. And I have seen one thing that could be pretty annoying, from like other content creators and whatnot. And that would be like once you reach a certain amount of people in the lobby, you all have to leave the lobby and then rejoin it. That way it can set a new player count limit. It's a little bit weird, a little bit strange. But I mean, I guess they probably have their servers like separated for the smaller, medium, and then larger ones. I'm not really too sure. It's just kind of weird to me. The whole link party thing worked just fine for me. I never had any moments where somebody couldn't join, or maybe someone didn't get an invite, or maybe somebody got locked out of something, or somebody got soft locked, or whatever it may be. Somebody would enter a quest or a mission. It would send the invite to everybody else. I would join, or they would join. We would finish. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done. Return back to the base camp while the other one just continues. And that's pretty much it. I do understand that one gripe is like the environment sharing or environment link. That's a little weird. You can only be in one specific area with each other, and that was it. You can't go like from the plains over to the forest, or it would just disconnect you from each other. And I get that it's meant to be like a small scale, like hanging out kind of deal or something, but it's still a little bit weird. Just speaking of hanging out though, even though I never really played World or Rise, no gathering hub, no real social area on release. I thought that was a little weird, since it seems like a standard modern Monster Hunter kind of thing. And yes, I do know that they already said they're putting one in with the title update, but it just kind of makes you wonder, why wasn't there one in the first place? And another thing that's not in the game in the first place is more monsters. That's just kind of what all the negative Nancy's out there are saying. They just see it once on the internet and just run with it. I know there's 29 large monsters. Yeah, I looked it up. I saw that Rise had 37 and World had 30 when they released. So it isn't really that much of a difference. In the grand scheme of things, they add in new monsters anyway with like post-launch updates and DLC. And I don't want to be some kind of conspiracy theorist or start a rumor mill or anything, but I kind of have a feeling they might want to support this game for a good while, so there may actually be a good amount of monsters added in the future updates. I mean, which who knows? That could be one reason for the lower level of difficulty too, or maybe even the lack of a social hub at launch. Maybe they're trying to show that, we're going to stick with this and maybe have a little bit of longevity and commitment to the game. Maybe the cons on everybody's lists are just temporary because Capcom is planning on doing something more for the years to come. But all in all, as a new player, I think that the game is genuinely like a 9 or a 9 point something out of 10. I don't think the game is perfect because there have been plenty of people having performance issues and things of the sorts. I can't tell you how many TikToks I've seen where it's like, oh, do this to make your game run better. Or hey, here's 5 secret settings to fix your game. I mean, I don't know about all that now. But it obviously isn't a perfect game. It is, however, extremely enjoyable, easy to approach, and definitely easy to lose yourself in. And with that being said, on that note, however you do an outro on these long talking videos, bye I guess. See you later maybe. No, not all that. I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna play more. I'm gonna farm more monsters so I can make more armor. So thanks if you watched the entire video. It would mean a ton if you would like the video. It's a good way for me to know if you guys actually want to watch anything from me again, or maybe hear me yap for like 10 minutes. If you want to see anything else, maybe some gameplay or something like that, then let me know in the comments. Let me know whatever you want in the comments, if you liked it, if you didn't. I mean, tell me what you want. But thanks. Peace.